When producing my preliminary task, I had very little previous experience of planning, filming, and editing a media text, so I felt this was an interesting way to be properly introduced to it. My prelim was titled The Confession, and I feel that I used a variety of shots and camera angles, and also made good use of the 180-degree rule. However, there were many things I didn't do well. Firstly, my planning wasn't very thorough, which meant I had to improvise whilst filming. Also, the quality of my shots were not very good, and the cuts between shots didn't always match up and feel realistic. I also didn't understand the concept of representation in media, so my characters were lacking in personality and morality, and did not engage the audience. My time for filming was also restricted to 1 hour due to being filmed within school hours. When editing my prelim, I was required to use Adobe Premiere Pro, which I had never used before. This meant I found it difficult when editing, as I didn't know where any of the editing tools were. With all things considered, for a first attempt I was happy with my prelim. I would say the hardest thing to get used to would be having to film the same shots several times until I was satisfied with them. When planning from my thriller film perspective, I first researched the thriller genre as a whole to see what audiences typically find interesting. Then, using this research, I drafted my own initial idea generation for my own film and created storyboards to go with it. By planning more effectively than I did for the preliminary task, I was able to know exactly what I would need to do on the day of filming regarding the locations I'd be filming in and specific shots and angles I needed. I also created characters and other aspects of mise-en-scène based on specific representations that would be related to by the target audience I was producing the film for. During production of my opening sequence, I was a lot more confident when filming, and this was reflected by the quality of my shots, as well as an improved variety of shots, including match-on action and shot reverse shots. My composition and camera stability had significantly improved since filming my prelim. I filmed my production in chronological order of the narrative for the film to make it more convenient when editing, but also to minimise the risk of any continuity errors. There were several large problems during planning and producing my coursework. The most significant problem I faced was the fact that my main actor had to pull out of filming the day before I was due to film, so I had to find a new actor to replace them, choose one of their outfits that would be best suitable for the character, and change the location of filming to my own house at very short notice. Because of this, I also had to improvise a lot of the production factors as they were happening. However, whilst doing this, I also changed the structure of my opening sequence. Originally, I was going to film the protagonist walking to the location of her murder, but instead did not show the murder itself, and showed short clips featuring the antagonist to create more enigma and excitement for the audience. Despite a number of setbacks and redrafting of my sequence, I feel as though overall my media product was better than it would have been without these setbacks. I feel a lot more confident using the equipment now than I did at the start of the course. I know how to set up the camera and tripod quickly and use it to its full potential regarding different shots and angles. I can now also confidently use the editing tools on Adobe Premiere Pro. I think my end product fulfilled the task well, as it was supposed to be a thriller film aimed for a specific target audience, and my feedback since uploading the final cut has been positive. From completing this coursework, I have learned several key things. I have learned how to categorize different types of audiences and create media text depending on demographic and psychographic factors. As mentioned before, I have also learned how to use a camera and tripod for filming, as well as Premiere for editing. Finally, I have learned how to overcome unforeseen situations and problems, as well as improvising yet still creating a high quality piece of work.